Oh,
Well, welcome you legends, and we have a special guest with us tonight for session 75 of our IQ sessions, and his name is Dean Popplestone. He is one of the marvelous people we know. He's a dear friend of ours, and he is someone that makes you laugh. His wisdom is very, very high, and he is here to talk and take us through today's session. And while he's doing that, we're going to be spinning our legs on our bicycles while we're using our exercise to keep our brain nice and fresh. So Dino, over to you, champion.
Cool. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you very much. Yep, looking forward to tonight. It's going to be a good one. Hopefully you guys get something worthwhile out of it, and something that you can take away, and something that's going to actually make a difference as well. Hang on. Oh, anyway, I don't know what's going on my screen. I want to start off tonight with sharing a quote with you guys by a guy called Earl Nightingale, an old dude. I'm not even sure if he's with us anymore. I think he's long gone. But he put it like this. He put, "We are all self-made, but it's usually only the successful who will admit it." Now, it's quite an enlightening quote, but quite confronting as well, because we don't like to feel that we're self-made and we're fully responsible for where we end up, regardless what that is. Just hold on a minute. Hey, Lily, come here for a minute. I just got to get my tech crew in to show me how to share screens. So I just want to share something with you for what I created. Google Chrome. Hold on. Slight technical hitch. Are you timing me?
I promise we're not timing you. We're setting our watches for our bike. I'm already on.
Oh, I thought this was for the report later. Oh, I used up 4 minutes in trying to get up a share. Maybe go get Noah so you can tell me where it is. Hold on. I've got all sorts going on the computer screen now. A little bit.
Can I help you at all, Dino?
Yeah, well, I've got something on Google Docs, and I'm trying to find it now. I don't know.
I can't help you there. Sorry.
Nah. Oh, is that it? That's it.
Yeah, you can't screen share it though because something's wrong with the settings.
Oh, so they can't see it.
No,
Oh, that sucks big time.
it's something on the settings, Zoom settings. It won't allow it at all. I can't change it.
So you can't see what's on my screen at the moment, can you? Just me. Oh, that sucks. Oh, hold on. Can you see that? No. And so that was my grand entrance. I've got nothing. All right. Anyway, we're all self-made. No matter where we end up, it's our doing, whether good, bad, or indifferent. It's no. Hold on. I need to change this because now I've got the presentation going on in the background, and I can't actually see anything that's going on. All right. I'll just talk regardless. I can't actually see much on my screen at all now, so I'll just keep going. The way that we look at it is it's like this. Earl Nightingale said we're all self-made, but it's usually only the successful who will admit it. Now, where we end up, regardless of where that is our doing. The good news is the difference between us and all other animals is we have the ability to choose. And what I mean by that is I don't mean a cow that can go over into the left-hand side of the paddock and choose to eat there while his mate goes over to the right-hand paddock. I mean that we can actually choose to go against our natural instinct, I guess you call it, or genetic coding or whatever they want to call it. But we can actually have that ability to choose where we where we want to go. All right, as in our life decisions. Put it this way, the way I mean by that is say a goose hits winter, a goose flies south because all his other goose mates fly south, so he goes with them because he figures that's what we do because I'm a goose. A wildebeest will travel across the plains, across crocodile-infested waters, risk getting eaten, and watch his mates get eaten because he's a wildebeest, and that's what wildebeest do. So you'll follow your wildebeest mates because you go, mate, I'm a wildebeest, so that's what I do. Quite often, this is the way that we operate when we live our lives. We just go, well, this is what we do. We follow our mates, we follow the people that we hang out with, and we fly south with our goose mates. We cross the crocodile waters with our wildebeest mates because that's just the way that I am. But it doesn't have to be that way because we have the ability to do something different. We have the ability to actually make a deliberate decision to do something totally different. So just because we have this ability, it doesn't mean that we use it. More often than not, we don't. And we fly south and we cross those waters, and every now and then we get a chunk taken out of us because we run the mode of that's just the way I am. Our minds are made up of two areas. It's the conscious and the unconscious. Now, the conscious is our deliberate decisions. That's where we actually make the effort to make the decision of what we're actually going to do. That's where we actually have to apply ourselves, make decisions and put action in. That's the conscious side of our mind, that we're aware of what's actually going on. Now we have the unconscious side of our mind, and that does stuff like runs our heartbeat, our breathing, helps us to walk every day, helps us to just negotiate every day, meaning sort of those little tedious tasks and stuff like that we don't have to put any thought into, like opening a door. Even once we start driving, it's almost like an unconscious thing that we just hop in and we know what to do. Some days when we drive to work or back home from work and we think, man, we don't even remember doing that trip. But we made it anyway. Now that's our unconscious programming where we just go, that's just the way it is. I know what to do. Let it go in default mode and let it run. The dangerous side of this is quite often we'll give the unconscious side way too much power. And what happens there is it actually starts to take over all aspects of our lives, where we just start letting things go as they are. Just what do they say? Just it'll work out. That's just the way that life is. That's just who I am. And all these really false statements that they're bollocks. And they are lies that are fed to us and lies that we start to believe, and we think that we have no real choice in it. Now, I was hoping to actually show you the mind chart, but that's not actually happening at all. Let's just see if I can close this down. No, I can't. Okay.
I'm going to show you some stuff now.
Yeah, I need to get this back up big again. Tech crew, don't shut it all together. Don't do that again.
What?
Right.
I'm going to do that.
Oh, how do I get that big?
There you go.
There you go. Well done.
Do you want it on gallery view?
Oh, yes, please.
View gallery. There you go.
So it's important to know who you hang around with so you get the job done. So where were we? So the mind chart, it goes something like this. And I wish I could show it to you, but unfortunately it's not there. So what it is life is made up of a series of events. And it's simply that they're just an event, like a tree falling down in the forest where nobody's around. It falls down, nobody's aware of it, but it happens. It's just an event. It's us that actually attach the meaning to that event to give it some significance in our life, whether it's a massive meaning, whether it's a small meaning, whatever it is. then it becomes a significant part of our life and becomes part of our memory bank. The way that we do this is we bend it, we twist it, we distort it, and we mold it into the way that we want it to look to suit our filters. Now, our filters are made up of stuff like our attitudes, our memories, values, beliefs, decisions, and that sort of stuff. So I go through those filters, and it actually gives us a visual point of what that event actually means. Now, to put it in perspective, there's a couple of different theories on this, but at any one time, we are subject to anywhere between, some say 2 million bits of information to 7 million bits of information at one time. And out of that, our mind, through our initial filters, will knock it down to about 120 pieces of information that we actually use to make that event and put it into our perspective. Now, out of that 120 bits of information, we then further filter it down through, these filters of our beliefs, our attitudes, our decisions, and our memories, and what's the way that we look at it. So we distort and twist it. We use 7 to 13 bits of information to make that relevant to us, to make that event what it is to our perspective. So we go from anywhere up to 7 million bits of information to down to 7. And that's where we create what's going on. They call it a internal representation, and that's how we see the world. So I have told the story before. I won't go into it too much, but we took Noah for a ride. He shot down at 1,000 miles per hour, screaming his guts off. He hit the deck. I was chasing after him, almost got to him. I was pushing the pram at the same time. Sorry, it's a speed version tonight. And once he hit the deck, so that's the way the story goes. Now, there was 5 different perspectives of that story. There was mine as a dad. I was chasing after my boy, trying to catch him. There was Noah on the bike, who was absolutely packing his decks because he thought he was going to die on his little bicycle. There was Lily, not Lily, it was Hannah in the pram at that stage, and she was absolutely loving it. She was bolt upright, and at the end of it, once the boy hit the deck and we stopped, she actually asked if we could do it again. And then it was a little old lady who actually stepped out of the shop as Noah came roaring past, and Noah just about cleaned her up. Or I might have a bit of help here because Hannah's here. Hannah, I need you to help me how to share a screen. And a little old lady that we almost cleaned up at the same time. So out of that, there was 4 different perspectives of this one single event. So it was exactly the same event, but it was the one event. So with that, that was from all our ways of taking in the information that I was saying. We reduce it down through our filters, and then we actually distort it and bend it so it actually fits our profile. And what happens there is when we get our internal representation, is that creates our state of how we're feeling, of how we actually emotionally attach to that, the emotions that we actually attach to that event as well. And from there, our actions, whether it's a negative action, whether it's a positive action, excuse me, that's where we get it from, is whether we view it as a positive event or a negative event for us. Now, quite often you'll hear it said, well, I can't change the way that I am because that's just the way that I am. Now that, to put it bluntly, it's a pile of crap. The good news is we actually changed and we distorted and we added things and we took out things out of our filters to create what we've got now. So if we can do it then, it's possible to actually do it now. So one of the photos I was going to share with you to start off with is to paint a picture of it. Back when me and Tan got first married, I was a fat dude, mate. I was dead set. I was a fatty. The picture that was up there, it says "Fat Dad," and that's exactly what it was. There was a lot of burgers that got harmed in the making of that fella. So he's not a great representation when I see it now. And it's probably hardly recognised who it is when you do get to see it. Those were the decisions that I made. And one of the decisions that I was making on a daily basis was I was consuming up to 5 litres of Coca-Cola a day. And I fed myself a lie and verbalised it quite a bit that I didn't really like to drink anything else. But there was no exercise that went into that. There was no real ability to actually do anything about it. I ate way too much. I drank way too much Coke. In fact, my philosophy in life was I don't understand why anybody run or walk, because that's why I got my license. So I didn't have to do that. Until I started seeing the actual benefits of making the harsh decisions of actually trying to make a difference. The effort that we put in equals the results that we get out. So the first part of my life, there was not a lot of effort that went in. I did what was easy, what was comfortable, what tasted good, and the results was, well, to put it bluntly, it was a fat bastard. That was the results. Until I actually made a conscious choice to change. And what that meant was I started having to change my filters, started having to change the reasons that I did stuff. Actually grab Mum might be able to help. We're bringing in the big guns now. Mum might be able to actually help us with this. So it was actually changing the filters to the way I was starting to view it. So all of a sudden now, to me, 5 litres of Coke a day was a ridiculous amount of Coke to drink, and it was actually doing more damage than good. The amount of food that we were eating was a ridiculous amount. The fact that I wasn't moving was a ridiculous thing for me as well, where at one point it was all acceptable. So when we say that we can't change it, that's a load of crap, because we definitely can.
They can still see you.
They can still see me? Cool. Okay. You can still see me. I can't see you. Now, just going to check my notes as well. So my philosophy, as I was looking at it, was I had no choice in it. So it's, you know, as Fat Dad was sitting there and he was pissing and moaning about being fat, but he was still chuffing, you know, the burgers and still actually chugging down 5 litres of Coke a day. He was doing nothing about it. So when you get the last slide, it was a lot more dramatic when you can actually see the slides. I couldn't share anything. Was the Fit Dad. So on my 50th, I actually shared, don't worry about it. Don't worry, I'll just go without it. So on my 50th birthday, I actually ran a marathon, as a lot of you would have known. Now, this is a far cry from where I was, from where I actually was, and what was going through my mind then. So a marathon to me, yeah, it was a big deal, but it was not a big deal. I knew it was achievable. To me, it was just another challenge and the enjoyment of actually being able to conquer something that big. Also, my filters had now changed of what perspective I was putting into my life and how I was doing it. So how do we stop from going back to where we were? We actually have to make a conscious decision to do that. We actually have to make a conscious decision to start altering what we filter our perspective of life through. So we actually have to alter the way, sorry, getting distracted, the way that we actually look at life. And it takes effort. It's not just going to happen. There's no little fairy that's going to turn up one night with a little wand and ding, tap you on your little button nose and think, there you are, you're a beautiful princess all now. It doesn't work that way. It actually took a while. For me to go from Fat Dad to Fit Dad, that was years of work and years of actually conscious decisions of actually making it happen, years of actually being uncomfortable and getting out there and making it happen. And now I look forward to doing stuff like, you know, the track days that we've just been introduced to, and the big runs and the rides and, you know, triathlons and stuff like that. Now, this is a far cry from the Fat Dad that used to sit on his ass and just chuff down 5 litres of Coke. But two different people altogether. But it took a deliberate decision to actually make that happen. So the deliberate decisions is what makes a difference. When we don't want to do it, there's probably a good chance that the answer is we need to get our asses out there. You'll see a lot of people in these challenges that if you saw their before photos and now photos, they've been in the same boat. You probably wouldn't recognize them, but they've made deliberate decisions to make those changes in their life. They made those deliberate decisions to actually get out and start moving, to actually change what goes into their mouth, to actually change who they hang out with. Real important piece of information is who we hang out with makes all the difference in the world. So if you're going to hang out with people that don't value getting out and exercising, eventually you'll end up back in that spot again. If you hang out with people who don't value eating healthy and fueling up well, you're going to end up back in that spot again. So who we hang out with is really, really, really important. And the connection between physical and mental is real, as Matt and Sheridan and T-Pop promote on a regular basis. Just getting out and moving makes all the difference. Get started. That's the first bit. Get started. Don't get out there and go, oh, man, I can only run 100 meters. If you weren't running 100 meters before, that's your win to start off with. All right. Get started. Make that deliberate decision to actually move and get out there. Don't ever accept that's just the way that I am, because what that'll bring is a lifetime full of unsatisfaction. What that'll bring is a lifetime of disappointment when you look back and think, man, only if I'd actually given that a crack. For me, even when I was the fatty sitting on the couch, I always wanted to do a marathon, but never thought it was possible. It took me to reach my 50th birthday to actually realize it was possible. Now, I'm sure that marathon would have been easier when I was in my 20s. But we made it, and we're still going to do more because we actually made that decision to change it. The other side of it that I wanted to let you in on is we are going to influence those around us regardless of our decisions. So we like to think we only influence the good stuff that we do. No, we'll influence those around us regardless. So if we hang on to our bad habits, if we hang on to there's no way I can change, this is just the way it is, guess what your kids are going to do? They're going to go into life thinking, well, there's not much point because there's no way I can change. If we're going to influence, let's make it worthwhile. Let's give them something to be influenced into. You know, why not start our kids off on a really good wicket by showing them how it can be done. If the oldies are getting out there, they will follow. I think that's about it. Number one thing, you're not just the way that you are. You can change it. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Personally, I thought it sucked. The visual presentation that was.
You are a legend, Dino. Sorry, our bikes are spinning in the background, so we can't quieten them down.
That's all right.
But thank you so much. Always wise words and great perspective and wisdom. So we're super, super grateful for your time and your knowledge. And thank you guys for listening in. Have you got anything else to add?
Just a massive thank you, mate. And thank you guys always for giving up your time to invest in you. It's always great hearing other people's perspectives on things. And I think, Dino, you always offer a great one. So thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, good sir. All right, beautiful people. We will see you next week. We have the wonderful Kylie Brownfield. She's a child psychologist, one of our beautiful members that will be sharing her wisdom. And then the following week is Tanya Popplestone, who's going to be sharing a really cool segment as well. So we're in for a treat over the next few weeks. But thank you guys, as always. We love you. If you ever have any questions or any topics that you would like us to discuss, please just yell out. Other than that, you have a wonderful evening and we will see you soon.
See you, legends. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thank you, guys.